Well, it's an issue that has basically been brushed under the carpet for decades. The unsettling existence of comfort stations during the Second World War is something the Japanese government has been reluctant to acknowledge.
And that's the subject of a new Canadian documentary called Within Every Woman. And joining us in the studio this morning to talk about it is the director, Tiffany Sung, and associate producer, Raisa Kondraki. Tiffany, Raisa, great to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
What inspired you to tell this story? Was it literally your grandmother?
Well, I'm always very close with my grandmother. I have like my own history of trying to locate my real birth grandpa, or my mother's real mother, back when I was 20. But what actually inspired the story was back in 2009, I was invited to document a study tour that essentially was held by Toronto Alpha, which is an association of learning and preserving history in World War II across Asia. So I was part of that study tour, and it was there that I met Grandma Ha in Shanghai, and I heard her story, and it was the first time I ever heard the story about the comfort women issue. And to hear that from a grandmother that's sitting right next to you and that resembles my own grandmother, I was just blown away.
Let's talk about those stories that you heard. I want to roll this clip that we have of one of them, and I want you to tell me the story of what happened to these women, because it's quite astonishing. It's heartbreaking. When you think of World War II, you don't think of, I mean, a lot of people don't think outside of what happened to the Jews and people in the concentration camps, and this is something that came out of nowhere. I mean, what is the story behind this?
Well, in World War II across Asia, over 200,000 women were kidnapped or coerced into these comfort stations, and they were basically military sexual slaves. And after the war, a lot of the women kept silent, didn't talk about it, felt ashamed to even tell their own family members. Lola Adela, that you just saw in that clip, when I first met her back in 2009, she told me that that's the only thing that she wished, that she could tell her own children, that she regretted not telling her own husband before he passed, but she was afraid that he would leave her. And still to this day, she is still trying to come to terms to tell her eldest son. She has told her daughters, and it's not easy. I mean, if you could imagine your mother telling you the story after all these years.
How old would these young women have been? I mean, what was the youngest that this went back to?
The youngest was 8. As young as 8 to 18 were the age group that they were kidnapped.
But they're obviously in their 80s and 90s now, having survived World War II, Race. And now, as the producer, what are you trying to accomplish by creating this kind of a movie? Just to raise awareness or comfort them, or what's the objective?
Right. Well, the reason I first became involved with the project was I'd never heard about the comfort women either, but I realized that it's more than just a story about them. It's a story about healing and the fact that you know, an act has a beginning and an end, but the aftermath, that takes forever, and to heal from something like that. And you know, these women are, some of them are a lot further along than others, and young women today can learn from that and can be inspired to come forward and speak out themselves.
There's a universal story here
Exactly.
for all women of crime, of a sex crime, and that they all live with the same kind of shame. We're lucky here in North America because we have support groups. These women have had nothing their whole lives.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So to go back to your question, yes, of course it's to raise awareness, because this is known as the largest institutionalized rape system in world history, and so few people know about it. So raising awareness is a main priority. But also it's to, you know, to make people realize that you know, it's important to come out and speak out, and that that if the grandmothers can do it so late in their lives, that anyone can, you know, and that a support network is important. So
has the government ever apologized or recognized this?
No, which is why every Wednesday a group of the grandmothers in Korea demonstrate, and they're asking for a formal apology.
For the past 17 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Every Wednesday for the
every
last 17
So
years.
their 1,000th protest is happening this December, and we would like to film it and be there to document that. But yeah, it's, I think, the world's longest demonstration by grandmothers, of course, and it's crazy.
Regardless of weather or, you know, so many circumstances, they're in their 80s and they're out there every week. So
Tiffany, after they told you their stories, did you visibly see relief that it was off their chests? No. They still were dealing with it, never mind telling everybody else in the families.
Yeah, it can never go away. It's not something you can never forget. But I think there is a comfort and there's a sense of peace knowing that there are people who want to listen, who want to hear their stories and remember it and pass it on. Because I think the biggest thing, some of the grandmothers they're like, no one will believe us. You know, after, you know, nobody knows about it, nobody will believe this. After we pass away, this will just be forgotten. And that's the scariest thing for them, is just that all of this will just be forgotten like it never even happened.
So your goal now is to have this story told and heard around the world. You have a website. You're trying to raise money.
Yes.
Where is it at now, and how can people get involved in your project?
Well, we're right now $14,000. Our goal is to $50,000 in the next 21 days. It's a Kickstarter campaign. It's wewomen.org/Kickstarter, and we're hoping that by June 30th we could reach our goal of $50,000, and anyone can make a pledge of minimum of $1, which is amazing, or just even pass on the word, or even watch a clip, a trailer. So that'd be amazing.
We'll put this up on our website.
Yeah.
Of course, get the word out. We really wish you luck.
Thank you. We also actually have a garage sale, so we're being really innovative with the way we're funding. So people have donated now the things out of their garage, and this Saturday at 312 Ronsonsville, we have a garage sale that's donated from everybody across Toronto. So it'll be an epic garage sale this Saturday.
Okay, so when is your trip? Will you come back after the trip to tell us about the trip?
If you'll have us.
Yeah, if you'll have us, for
Yes,
sure.
please.
Yeah, after
we'd
the
love to
summer.
know how you do the stories, how these women are doing. So please keep us up to date.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Tiffany,
Thank you
Risa,
so
thanks
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.